Hey everybody, it's Mina. So today I'm going to be showing you all how to make a tulle skirt. Now what you're going to need to make a tulle skirt is, you're going to need, of course, you're going to need a sewing machine, you're going to need a ruler or yardstick, you're going to need a tape measure to take your measurements, and you're going to need at least minimum 10 yards of tulle, because that's what I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using 10 yards of tulle. Now for the waistband, what I'm going to be using is this pretty glitter elastic, and it's about 2 inches wide, and you're going to need at least a yard of it. Okay, all right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I've done is I've laid out my tracing paper. This is what I'm going to be making the circle skirt template from. Now you can make it on directly on your fabric, or you can make it on this, and you can keep using this for other skirts that you may want to use. Now before we get started, we need to take a couple of measurements. We need to take our waist measurement, we need to take our hip measurement, and we need to take the length of the skirt, how long we want the skirt. All right, so to take your waist measurement, we're just gonna start right here where your belly button is, and we're just going to measure around. You're going to take that measurement. I measure a 35. The next measurement, we're going to take our hip measurement, and that's measuring around the fullest part of your body, and I'm going to measure all the way around, and I am a 45. And the next measurement I'm going to take is how long I want my tulle skirt to be. Okay, so I'm going to start at my side. I'm going to kind of bend over, and where that little crease is, that's where your waist is going to start. So you're going to measure down from that crease how long you want it. All right, so I want mine to fall about 16 inches from my waist. Okay, now the first measurement that we're going to start with is we're going to start with your hip measurement. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your hip measurement, which mine was a 45. Well, actually, I'm making this skirt for someone else. So her hip measurement measures a 44. So I'm going to take 44. I'm going to divide that by 3.14, and then I'm going to divide that number by 2. All right. So with that, I came up with a measurement of 7. And I just want to let you all know, if you come up with a measurement of 6.75 or a 7.13, it's not important to measure directly to the point. You don't have to get those 1/4 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch. You don't have to do that. So if your measurement comes out to 7.15, just 7 inches is okay. So again, the first measurement that we're going to work with is your hip measurement. Okay, now the reason why we're taking your hip measurement, and that's how big we're going to make the radius, the circle of your skirt, is because this is going to be a pull-on tulle, so we need to be able to get this tulle up over our hips. Okay, so again, you're going to take your hip measurement that I'm working with is 44. We're going to divide that by 3.14, and then divide the number by 2, and I came up with 7. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start on this end, and I'm just going to simply measure down 7 inches. Mark that on this side. Then I'm going to come over to this side right here and measure down 7 inches also. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tape measure, and I'm going to start right here at the corner, still here at the corner. And what I like to do is, because I can poke holes in my table topper, I like to pin my tape measure here, get my marking pen, and then I can just measure down 7 inches here, put a little mark there, move it over 7 inches, 7 inches, because we're going to be connecting the dots. Okay, 7 inches here. All right, 7 inches. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to connect these dots right here. Okay, and this is going to form the radius of our circle skirt. Okay, all right, so now what we're going to do is that measurement, how long we want our skirt. What I'm going to do is, again, I wanted mine to be 16 inches from my waist down. So here's your waist. This measurement, this right here, That's your waist. That's going to be your waist because we're going to actually cut this out. So from your waist, measuring 16 inches down. Okay. I'm going to put a little mark here. Then I'm going to, from our waist down here, because we're going to be connecting these dots also. From my waist, measure 16 inches down. Again, waist 16 inches down. Then of course on this side we're going to measure from right here 16 inches down. All right, and then I think I need to get my dots a little bit closer so I can have a better, I can connect these dots a little bit better. All right. All right, so now we're just going to connect these dots. If you want to get a more accurate tracing of these dots, you can also use your hip curve, but I think I can trace these. All right. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut out this one. All right. And we're going to cut this out. All right, so this is going to be the template for our circle skirt, okay? All right, so my next step is I've already pre-cut my tulle into how many sections that I'm going to need. And I'm going to make a tulle skirt with 7 layers, okay? So 7 layers is going to give me, again, it's 10 layers. I mean, that's 10 yards of tulle. And I've already pre-cut mine, okay? I already know that, see, this is about, this is 59 inches long. So 59 inches long, I know it's going to get me 1 layer of tulle, okay? So I've cut 7 of these, okay? So what I'm going to do is, we're going to be placing our template on this, but first we have to fold this, because what we're doing is we're going to do a we're going to do a full tulle skirt, okay? 1 layer. We're not going to have any side seams, okay? So again, I know for me, for how long I want my tulle skirt to be, I know that 59 inches is going to give me 1 layer, okay? So note that this is the fold. The fold is facing me, okay? And these are the raw edges down here, but the fold is facing me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And this is so that we can make a full tulle skirt, a full skirt. Okay, so now I'm going to take my template that I made based off of the measurements that I did, and I'm going to place it on here. All right, I'm going to place this on the fold over here. And then this one should be on the fold over here. All right. So when you're working with tulle, I just suggest using your washers or your pattern weights. If you want a pin, that's fine, but this is just so much easier and convenient. All right. So again, what I did is I took my 59 inches, I folded it over, laid my template down, and now I'm going to cut. Okay. Scissors. All right, so again, the fold is towards me. You have to really make sure, because you don't want to cut it on the opposite end. The fold is facing me. I've laid my template down. Well, actually I folded it over and I laid my template down because we're making a full circle skirt, okay? No side seams, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. Oops. I see tulle snags a lot. All right, I'm going to cut this. And if you're ever having a problem with the static with tulle, Only thing you have to do is, one thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning is you can use a spray bottle. Use water, just spray it real lightly, and that should get rid of your static if you experience that. But it doesn't look like I'm having any problems with the static with this, so. And looks like I need to, look, I missed a layer. Yeah, because this tool can snag a lot, so that's how I missed a layer. So just had to retract. All right, so this is my first layer, and I'm going to do this 7 times, okay? All right, so here's what we're going to have. We have this. All right, no side seams. This is going to be our first layer, okay? Okay, see it? Here's our radius. This is our hip measurement. This is what we cut, our hip measurement. All right, so we're gonna, this is my first layer. And again, for me, I know that 59 inches will give me 1 layer. So I'm gonna take that 59 inches, I'm gonna fold it over. I'm gonna place my template on, and then I'm gonna cut around it, okay? So this is my first layer, okay? So I'm gonna do this 7 more times. And I don't know if I mentioned earlier, we're going to cut an extra layer of lining material. You're going to need a lining material. You're going to need a contrasting fabric, a lining fabric, and you're going to do it just the same. But I'll show you how to do that too. But I'll be right back. I'm going to cut 7 more of these, and then I'm going to put all these layers together, and then we're going to start forming our tulle. So right, now that I have all of my layers of tulle cut out, now it's time to cut the last layer, the very last layer, which is the lining. Okay, now again, my lining is the same size as my tulle pieces were. I think I mentioned that this was 59 inches, but it's actually 49 inches. Okay, so I went and got some lining fabric, and just want to let you all know that this is anti-static lining, and which is good because we don't want anything that's going to draw attention or bring static to this tulle, okay? So again, this is 49 inches, and this is for my measurements, you know, as far as the length and everything. So I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the tulle. I have it folded. Remember that the fold is towards me, and here's your raw edges at the end. Make sure your fold is towards you, and I'm just going to simply fold it in half. All right, and I'm just going to take that, my pattern, my template, and I'm just going to lay it on here. All right, I'm going to take my pattern weights. All right, make sure everything is lined up. All right, and then I'm just going to cut it. Now after I'm finished cutting this, I'm just going to take it over to my machine, and I'm going to go ahead and hem it. And I'll just do a really quick rolled hem. Alright, so that's the last layer for the skirt. So now this is what we have. We have this. This is our lining piece. And again, I just did the exact same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this my last layer. Alright. Alright. So I'm going to take my tool and that I've put all my tools together, and I'm just going to take this and lay it on top of here. But I'll flip it around because the lining, of course, is going to be the last layer. So I'm going to make sure everything is straight. And I'm going to pin all these layers together. I've already pinned my tool together, so now I'm just going to pin the lining, pin it all together, and then I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and sew all the layers together. Okay, so now that I have all 7 layers of my tools sewn together plus the lining, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 plus the lining. I have it all sewn together right here in this circle right here. The next thing I want to do is I want to attach my waistband. Okay, so the person that I'm sewing this for, her waistband is, her waist measurement is a 34, so I went ahead and I cut a 34.5 because I'm going to sew this at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I went ahead and already measured 34.5, and I went ahead and sewed this together. I did use a zigzag stitch. Then I took my ends, my seam allowances, folded them back, and just did a single stitch right here. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to place some markers here on the skirt so that I can match it up with the markers that's on this waistband, so we can evenly space this waistband on here. Alright, so I'm just going to place it right here in the middle. And I'm going to take my marker and just put a little dot right here. Put another dot right there. Then I'm just going to take it this way. Same thing. Dot right here and a dot right there. And I'm going to mark my waistband the same way. Going to make this my back seam right here. So I'm going to place this in the back. And I'm going to mark this 2 and 4 different places too. This is my back seam right here, so I'm just going to put a little mark there. Then on the side seam, I'm just going to put a little mark right there. Same thing over here, and same thing right here for my center front. So I'm going to take my waistband and I'm going to do it, place it on here right sides together. Alright, so I'm going to take my center back and where I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line this seam up with this black mark right here, this black dot right here, and I'm going to pin it. Same thing when I get over here, this little marker right here that I put on here, I'm just going to pin it. Okay, I'm just going to pin it. And same thing over here. This marker that I put here, I'm going to pin it on this black mark. And again, I'm doing that right sides together. And then this mark right here, just gonna put it right there and pin it. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, of course, I'm gonna have to take this to my serger, and I'm going to serge this waistband to the skirt. And of course I'm going to have to stretch it, and then once I stretch it and pull the skirt into the waist, that's where that poofiness is going to come in. So I'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and serge my waistband to the tutu skirt, and I'll be back. All right, we're almost done.